Good morning. This is going to be the weekly twin flame reading. I've had some issues this week and I haven't been able to do it. My boxer is very sick. We've been dealing with her and I'm probably going to have to make a decision. So I've been dealing with that. And then Sunday, I had planned on making videos, and Monday too, but I got up, I did my routine as usual, took my bath, got out, was drying off, and for some reason I don't know how I missed a couple of really big spots on my left breast, and they looked very infected, like they were like sores, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not, I'm not that big, there's not that much room to not find them, But I found those, and then I ended up at the emergency room getting looked at, and they said it was an infection. Of course, I knew it was because my lymph nodes underneath my arm felt swollen. So they told me to, they gave me, antibiotics and told me to follow up with the doctor because I'm going to need a mammogram. So I'm dealing with that. And, when I was sitting in, I've been working on the Zen training because I've been really trying to be very focused on my spirituality, my spiritual journey. And, so one of my lessons was to just be very present in the moment, whatever I'm doing, to just put my all into the activity and not think about anything else. And first couple of days I did that, I almost went like crazy. It was just so hard. But when I was sitting in that emergency room, when I got there, I was just freaking out. I was just really panicked. Can you imagine? I was like, oh my God. I just knew I was dying. What the hell, man? And finally, I calmed myself in the emergency room. I was like, you know what? I'm a soul first and foremost. I'm not my body. Worst case scenario, let's say I did die, I would still continue to exist. And in that moment, I was actually able to separate my soul from my thoughts, my mind, and what is not me. I actually was able to really see what was me, and it gave me, great comfort because I was like, well, everything is perfect in every given moment. And no resistance. Choose the path of least resistance. I thought, I'm not going to resist this experience because if nothing else, this experience, this trip to the emergency room has finally allowed me to really understand and see myself as a soul, see myself as the observer, see myself as my thoughts. And my thoughts are not my soul because I'm able to watch them from outside myself. So with that being said, I'm still feeling kind of woozy. I'm on some, heavy-duty antibiotics. I'm a little nauseous. I'm not used to taking medicine. See, that's the thing. I don't go to the doctor. I heal myself. That was the first thing I thought. I'm just going to put some of my homemade salve on it. I'm just going to put salve on it. And I was like, no, you need to go get checked out this time. So I made myself go. But any love, light, positivity, prayers, whatever at this point are definitely welcome. I'm like, man, I should have been shuffling my deck the whole time. I apologize. I'm still not all together with it. But like I said, I'm still, not feeling the best. Here I was dealing with, just feeling real brokenhearted. I have a sick dog. I've been sick. I haven't been able to get out and make any money. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards, and I'll pull clarifiers as we go. And I have said before that I really don't like the terms divine feminine, divine masculine. Y'all know I never use those terms because to me, when you use that terms, it indicates separation. And I don't like to do anything that indicates separation. That's the reason why I don't make 2 videos. This is the reason why I just do. Basically, you're watching this video, then you're that positive end of that battery. You are the push energy, the so-called chaser, which I don't like those terms either because I don't really feel like they exist. Because the other polarity is not watching these videos. But I do feel like most all of you are feminines. I know that there are some masculine energies who also have a twin that is the negative polarity, the one that pulls away. So I do feel like there's been a profound shift with us, is what I'm getting at. That was my whole point, and I'm going to get into that. There's been a profound shift. These videos this week are going to be late. I couldn't even do anything about it. Okay, the first card that we have is the Four of Cups, Boredom. And the first thing that I got from this card was that I said that there's been a shift. And I feel like the shift has been that many of us have walked away from the physical form. That, you can't actually detach from the physical form of your twin flame, but you can detach from the obsessive thought patterns, from the expectations, the disappointment, all of that have to do with the physical form of the twin flame. So I do feel like many of us, divine feminine, if you want to call it that, because I have to, I don't like to talk about anything that involves separation, but I'm talking about the feminine part of you, because we're all that yin and that yang, all of us. And basically, you have the light and the dark, the feminine, the masculine, that negative, that positive, that fit together perfectly. That is still one, that you have to see past that illusion of separation. So I'm not really trying to feed into that illusion, but that part of you, the conscious part of you, not the subconscious part of you, that is your twin flame, but the conscious part, the physical form of your twin flame anyway, because you are your twin flame. So I feel like many of us have walked away from the physical form. I know I have. I'm just completely focused on myself right now. And I feel like that's happened for many of us. And the message that I channeled was that all of this shit that the divine masculine, the other energy, the other polarity, the other end has been doing has been to get us to walk away. And I know that triggered me at first because I was like, that just goes to show that you really didn't really want me. That's what I said. I mean, like, it really triggered me. But when you understand the fact that you are one, that this is your soul orchestrating both ends of this, it's for your highest good. It's for your highest good so that you can work on yourself and work on this. It says sacred union. Honor and treasure your relationship, for it's truly sacred. I want to get to this because I feel like this is that inner union. It is a sacred union when you can understand that your own soul is orchestrating both ends for your highest good. And that every shitty thing that the physical form of your twin flame has ever done has been to trigger you to go inward, to work, to get closer in alignment to your own soul, to that soul energy. And I believe I said this in the last video, that a message that I channeled was, imagine if, you meet this amazing person and he or she's just everything all your dreams are made of. And they never did trigger you. They never did trigger you. They never did act the way that they acted. Would you have grown as much as you have? Would you have pursued this spiritual journey? No. For what? I know the few times that he and I have like been together, like, communicating daily, which, mostly we did. We did that. We communicated daily. And I really stopped doing the work because I was like, well, why do I need to do the work? Because he's with me. And then sure enough, the rug would be snatched out from underneath me again. You have to get to the point where you know that you're always together and have comfort in that and be able to release the physical form, because the physical form is not really even your twin flame anyway. Your own soul is. We have the Wheel of Fortune destiny. And I am going to draw a clarifier for this card. Sorry, I'm like still not feeling good. I literally should still be in bed, so I hope this reading is helping you guys. I'm trying my best. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a second one today, but I'm kind of freaked out because I'm like, I'm so far behind. We have that Wheel of Fortune destiny. And basically, the message that I'm getting with this is that your thought patterns are creating your reality. When you think destiny, you think, what is it? Your destiny is like what you're destined to do. I hate to use the same form of the word, what you're destined to do without, I have lack for a better word. I'm kind of getting like self-fulfilling prophecy is what I'm getting with this card. And so I do feel like your thought patterns are creating this self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever it is you're telling yourself, it's coming to be. What I've been doing lately, since I've been observing my thoughts, I am such an overthinker. I'm probably like the worst. I've got to be the worst ever, like the worst human being ever for overthinking. I've got to be, like, nobody can be any worse than me. It's horrible. I used to not be able to sleep for days. I would just think and think and think. And the only way I could get any relief from thinking was to like binge watch something on Netflix for like a whole day. Because then I would actually get a break from thinking. Because I wouldn't think the whole time I watched it. Whatever it was I was watching. That's why I have to kind of really lose myself in a series. And I didn't watch TV for years. And I did that intentionally so that I could really work through some things. But what I've been doing lately is I've been observing, when I get like thought patterns. Oh, that's victim mentality. Oh, that's my fear of rejection coming up. Oh, those are just my obsessive thoughts about him. And then I step back from it because, I'm working on really being present right now, and it really is making a big difference. We have deceit. Because basically, with that self-fulfilling prophecy, you're lying to yourself. You're not being true to yourself. Do you really feel like, think about the thought patterns you tell yourself. I don't know how many times, like on threads to like other videos and stuff that are about twin flames, people will come in and be like, he just doesn't want me anyway. He hates me, this is never meant to be. And, all those, things that we say, and I do it too, recently. When you say those things, do you really believe that? Or is that your ego kind of throwing a temper tantrum because it has not gotten what it wants yet? But when you say those things and you believe them, guess what? That is what it is. And then before you know it, see, I had the advantage of really being able to see it firsthand because that's why I said he and I communicated a lot. And I always made him reach out to me. I always did. So we would communicate a lot, but I would notice if I got real fear-based or if I started telling myself things like he just doesn't care, just doesn't give a shit, guess what? Wouldn't hear from him for days until I cleared that shit. I told myself a different story. So this is that deceit. And I feel like you're lying to yourself, because a lot of times, I know a lot of times, even when I got in like the pits of despair, oh, I'm just ugly and stupid and this, I didn't really believe those things. It's just my ego throwing a little mini temper tantrum because it can't get what it wants. The physical form of the twin flame, one of his or her main purposes is to deny the ego. Deny the ego. And that's what eventually makes us walk away, because we're like, fuck this. Four of Wands, reward. This is also the twin flame card. We got the 1111. Four of Wands, reward. Understand the twin flame. This is not about getting the twin flame. This is a spiritual journey. Having soul recognition with your twin flame is like the catalyst to soul recognition is the catalyst to your spiritual awakening. And you will know, because this will not be like anything you've ever felt before. Most relationships you can walk away from and just be like, I'm just done. It doesn't feel like, your soul's been sucked out of your body. God, this has been like the most painful shit I've ever been through in my life. I swear it has. I know they say it's not supposed to be painful, but initially, I'm talking about like initially, wasn't it the most painful shit you'd ever experienced in your life? Like ever? The physical form of the twin flame, you can be with them in a physical relationship. That is just, romance is a cherry on top. This is not a relationship. It's not about romance at all. I know it's really hard to get caught up in that. And so, sometimes it just pisses you off. You just be like, damn, God. But you got to stay focused on yourself, because, like I said, this is a journey about spiritual awakening. You have to get to the point where they can no longer take your power back from their physical form of your twin flame. They can no longer have that power over you and be able to dictate how you feel, because they're not doing that anyway, because you yourself are are making yourself feel this way. So take your power back. Faith. Trust, unwavering confidence. You have to get to the point where you have absolute faith in your own soul. I know, when I was with him just recently, and I was going through it was like probably like 10 different triggers going on. He was a complete and total asshole. And understand, that was my energy. That was me. But I'm just saying, for all practical purposes and trying to describe it, he was an absolute asshole. And the whole time my soul was telling me, trust me. If you just trust me, I've got this. And anything that's happening right now is happening for your highest good. So you have to get to the point you don't judge this shit. Don't judge it as good, bad, whatever. It just is what it is. And that is how you get into that state of absolute peace and tranquility. Peace within yourself. And it's the most amazing feeling. I've experienced it. I'm still kind of in and out of it. But I'm really working on my thought patterns right now, because my thought patterns are creating my reality. I used to say, I wanted to create a really good thought pattern that would like have him, like I literally was trying to control energetically too. My mom told me a good story about him. I was still trying to control. I had to release that shit too, to just get to the point where, look, I don't even give a shit. It is what it is. For right now, I'm perfectly happy and content. And I trust my soul. I trust the universe completely, because I have faith that everything is happening is for my highest good. And I had to release the fact that this is about my spiritual journey, my spiritual growth. It is not about him. got to release them as far as their physical form, as far as the expectations and the obsessive thoughts. But in order to release the obsessive thoughts, you have to be conscious of them. And that consciousness, that pure consciousness, is your soul. We have the Nine of Wands defense. And, when we get hurt, we tend to try to put our walls back up. And, even when you, cut off contact and walk away from the physical form of the twin flame, at first, it's like protection, God, just no more. I'm done. Stay the fuck away from me. I'm more secure than Fort Knox right now. No, stay the fuck away from me. And understand, you really can't get away because, it's your own soul the whole time. Knock, knock, I'm still here. I'm still here, and I'm still going to find ways to trigger you. Whether or not you know it or not, it can be through somebody else. I used to have this special ringtone on my iPhone. It wasn't one that I bought. It was actually like an iPhone ringtone. I think it was that one by the sea. I don't know what it was. And that was my ringtone for him. That's what I used. Well, when I deleted the text thread, the contact. Yeah. And so I have been in 2 different businesses over the past 4 or 5 days. Well, I have heard that damn ringtone, and I never heard it on anyone else's phone before mine. And so guess what? It triggered me. Because you know what? Your soul is going to find a way to trigger you. I mean, you can shut the blinds, you can lock the doors, you can seal yourself off from the world, and it's still going to find you because your soul is not going to let you off that easy. Your soul knew you were ready, and that's the reason why you are on this journey. Because your soul knew. And this is not a romance. This is soul awakening. You can't walk away from it. I know sometimes we want to. It can be 2. And you know what? I definitely feel like those 2 cards definitely wanted to come out. Let go. As you surrender the need to control, your released energy rapidly attracts your desires. Let go and trust. And how do you let go? A lot of times we feel like if we do not focus on this connection day in and day out, because we transfer that obsessiveness. I know even when I stopped thinking about him all the time, guess what? I was still thinking about twin flame shit all day long. Same thing. Every day I was like, okay, what do I need to work, up until just recently, what do I need to work on this week? What do I need to work on? Because, I'm working towards union. There's not a union because there's not separation. You're together the whole time. And so our fears and that energy that we have, that obsessive energy, finds other ways to feed. If you can try to release the twin flame title for a while, try to, and I know I'm a twin flame video, try to release twin flame shit for a while. I don't know about y'all, but I'm almost twinned out, aren't y'all? I almost am. I really was like, oh, I'm going to do this twin flame video because I know that there's people out there struggling like I am right now. And I want to provide some kind of comfort, because when you get in that space, it's very hard. Love life. The basis of your question involves your romantic life, which is now changing for the better. Needing and wanting nothing attracts everything. Everything. And y'all know this. Think about times when you were in a relationship and y'all broke up and you were just really, if y'all were like me, which I have a feeling a lot of you are, because I think a lot of us that are in the position that we're in right now have been in this position before with others, just not to this degree. Of course, I know I went hard for other men, really went hard for them. My ex-husband, I chased him. I chased him for months and months. I mean, maybe a year, maybe longer. And he just kept rejecting me. And finally I was like, that last rejection, I said, you know what? fuck this. I walked away, went off, got myself in another relationship, which I pursued. And here he comes. Here he comes. See, y'all know that once you let go of something, how many times has it came back to you? But don't do it for that reason. Do it to feel better. But y'all know what I'm talking about. And deep down inside, don't you really know that? Hasn't your soul been kind of nudging you the whole time? Like, once you let go of this, like really let go of it, that's when it's going to come to you. Knight of Cups, proposals. And I'm going to get a clarifier for this card. Oh, my Romance Angel deck. I'm really not feeling well today. Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So basically the energy that I'm getting with this is that whole being present. Being present in the present moment. Stop worrying. Release the expectations. Just go into a place of deep faith and know that everything is being divinely guided at any given time. The message that I'm getting with this card here is that once you do that, this other person, this polarity, the other part of your soul, your other self, is going to come in fast. But when they do come in fast, you're not even going to give it a shit. You're going to be like, who cares? And you can decide to be with them or not. You can be like, you know what? Maybe you want to be by yourself. Maybe someone else comes along. And you're like, maybe it's that other person comes along and you're like, okay, my other self has showed me over and over again the shit I don't want in relationships anymore. Maybe that's their purpose too. This is the shit you don't want in relationships anymore. And you're able to release them, release the obsession, walk away and, run into a really nice soulmate and have an amazing relationship and choose not to be with them when they do come in. But I do know that this is something that's going to happen when you completely are done with it. I know that for myself for a fact. I've always known that. I've always seen it. I've always seen it. In fact, that's the reason why whenever I block him, I've always left at least one avenue that he can reach me open. But even then, my own soul said, you know what? I would make a way anyway. Five of Swords, conflict. This is that inner conflict where you're scared to death. And, I know I'm triggering some people because the very idea of being able to walk away from your twin flame, walk away from twin flame shit, focus on yourself, focus on your own ascension, your own spiritual growth. Oh, my phone's ringing. I'm not going to answer it. I probably should. I'm just going to let it ring. I can't get up. My dog's under my feet. I'm so sorry. I don't know who's calling this early. It's crazy. But anyway, with this conflict, this is that conflict where you feel very, very triggered, that if you walk away, that the connection's just going to die. It's just going to fade away. Now, because haven't you had situations that has happened with? And that's the fear. That, man, if I just don't keep, if I'm just not in their face all the time, like, reminding them, I'm here, then we're going to lose them for good. And that's simply not true, because the messages that I have gotten have been that that's the exact thing that has to happen. Sometimes you have to let somebody, and I would say miss, but understand you have to see past this separation. But in the physical realm, and understand you are simulating these, events that are happening with your the physical form of your twin flame by where you vibrate at. So in a physical sense, you know, sometimes somebody has to have that space in order to be able to kind of rubber band back to you. And you might think that you're not chasing, and you might think that you're not thinking about them, him or her, but whenever you are like even real obsessed with your twin flame journey, or like your growth, your, you know, working towards a union, that's still pushing, that's still chasing, that's still focusing your energy out on them. The energy that I basically get with this card here is that feeling that you don't want to be alone. You know, we are programmed to believe that we have to be in a relationship, we have to have a partner. I was talking to a girl the other day, a friend of mine, she stopped by my stand when I was selling stuff, and she said, you know, was talking about being single, about how amazing it is going home and, you know, having that peace and quiet, not having to worry about anybody else. And I was like, man, because I love being single too. I love it. That's the other thing I've had to think about, like, I don't know. I mean, I've like chased his ass, but if he were actually really here, I don't know, because I love being single. I love my time alone, but we're programmed to believe that we have to have somebody. She said, people, you know, her relatives are always like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to settle down? Because that's the expectation society has on us, that you have to have a partner. It's not good for people to be alone. And that's, you know, another reason people rush out and they get into these relationships. But the other thing I'm getting here is just feeling like you have somebody to lean on. You know, sometimes, you know, it does get lonely, and sometimes you're like, man, I just wish I had somebody I could talk to, somebody I could lean on. And he is, you know, in the beginning, he was the one. In the beginning, you know, I could call him and he'd start bossing me around, telling me exactly what I should do. We cleared that. We don't do that anymore. But now I feel like, you know, I have to lean on myself. And sometimes that's a good thing, because it really does make you stronger when you have to lean on your own self. Make yourself your own focus. Make yourself your own best friend, because you know what? You, yourself, are your twin flame. Resonate with that. You are your twin flame. You are. So do you need them, or can you just comfort yourself? And believe me, you probably come through a lot better that way. Just saying. Dearest you, pump up the music, bang the drums, get on up and start that hustle towards your goals and dreams. There are times to be still, but this is not one of them. Now is the time to make that first move. Say yes to life, pick up the phone, make that decision, and take that one step toward the gods or us. Expect a cascade of changed good news and opportunities to show up, if by magic. Well, we know it's really spirit in all of us moving things around for your benefit. The point is that we are saying, go for it. Take positive action towards your dreams. Even if the outcome isn't an exact fit for your agenda, it will all be orchestrated by spirit and arrive in divine appropriate timing. Don't you just love how it all works? We love you so, so much. So that's another reason you need to release the expectations, because we can't possibly even see the big picture, because all we have are our limiting views, our thoughts, you know, and understand our thoughts are not our soul. They're not our soul whatsoever. Our thoughts are very deceptive and very self-limiting. And so we can't even see the whole picture. You know, there's so much more ahead of us that we can't even fathom, we can't even imagine, you know. So that's my thing. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you would like to have a personal reading, they're $30 right now, and I'll include in the description of the video my email address. Thank you for putting up with me and all my distractions.